Good afternoon. My name is Siniša Tešić, and this is my application 1 video. The theory that I will be addressing, but specifically a concept within it, is the social penetration theory. And to add, that particular concept that I just stated is self-disclosure within this particular theory. The social penetration theory is essentially a theory that asserts that an individual will get to know more about another individual through mutual means of self-disclosure, being vulnerable, and basically removing the layers from one another's onions to understand the deeper content of the other individual. The reason why the onion is used as a metaphorical symbol is because of its layers, the multitude of layers that an onion has, with the outer layers being the more superficial, perhaps aesthetic qualities of an individual, and the inner layers being the more innate personal factors of an individual's personality. So to proceed and include this particular concept of self-disclosure into a personal story, I share with you a story about my best friend and I, and a recent event where I initiated self-disclosure to essentially try and get him to initiate self-disclosure so I could feel like I had a buddy who understood my position. So I have OCD. I recently found that in life something you're born with. It's a neurobiological disease, if you will, where serotonin and certain other neurochemicals in your brain are simply not produced in the quantity that you need to be a completely healthy human being. So I didn't know that, and then OCD has caused a lot of hardships in my life, and my best bud Jacob, we've been friends for a while. We've come to be close where we can open up with each other, share issues, try to get mutual feedback and mutual assistance for the troublesome things going on in our lives. And last year, OCD was definitely causing me a lot of hardship. I was having a very hard time dealing with everyday things because of it. Not to get into the details of what the OCD is, in my life or anything like that, but it was causing me hardship. And one time, I was sitting down with my bud. We were having a couple beers in San Antonio, checking out a band, and I just opened up. I don't know why. I just felt like there was this pressure for me to open up and relay the inner thinking and what was going on in my life, and he sensed that I was troubled, that it was something was bothering me, and that I was having issues in life. So he initiated self-disclosure after my self-disclosure. In that moment, the law of reciprocity within social penetration theory did come alive, even though I don't believe it's a necessary thing to happen out of every process of self-disclosure. It did in that case, and it really helped me out. He felt my struggle, and with his personal self-disclosure and his stories about his mental health, and because he's had his own issues, he was able to make me feel better. Like I'm not the only one who has these sort of issues. So it humbled me. It helped me out in understanding. It was definitely, an even more solidifying moment in our friendship. So, as the theory says, that was, self-disclosure that I initiated, and then I basically placed a wedge, in his personality, Dunyan, and he placed the wedge in. That sounds weird. But you get the gist. It was the self-disclosure aspect that happened, and we were able to understand even more of each other's inner self, inner personalities. Conclusively, this particular idea of social penetration theory is one that's very interesting to me because it does have a lot to do, in my opinion, with psychological processes that humans have on their minds all the time. So this concept of social penetration theory, I think, is extremely potent and powerful, and it's, I think, something that should definitely be more focused on within communication theories, even if it's in a quantitative or qualitative fashion, focusing on things that bring about self-revelation. I think is very important. There's plenty of other things that I can include in that type of thinking for that, but I'll just pause it there for the sake of time. Conclusively, thank you so much for watching this, and have a wonderful evening.